So normally you should be using a vacuum to vacuum bag this fiberglass, but in order to save me some money, I just lay it up, put it on a piece of melamine, then put a bunch of weight on it, and it seems to be working really well. Plus I don't have to buy a bunch of vacuum bagging material. So. So I just stick plastic on the top of the peel ply so that the plywood doesn't stick to it. It puts a few impressions in the fiberglass. Well, a lot of it's going to get probably out of toilet fiberglass. Maybe like a 6 ounce or 8 ounce or something. Yeah. So the top layer is still a little tacky. I laid it up this morning. So I'll flip it over and then I'll put barrier coat on the back side or the front side, whatever you want to call it. So I'm using Total Protect, which is a epoxy primer / barrier coat, just to give me a little bit of time so to protect the fiberglass a bit from the UV. It's not the final step, but I can put epoxy fairing compound over the top of the barrier coat and not have an issue if I primed it and then tried to barrier coat or fair it over the primer, then I'd have to sand off all the primer. So it's a bit more expensive to do it this way, but it works for me because I can put epoxy curing compound over the epoxy barrier. I don't know if you can see, but made a bit of a mess using this barrier coat. So it's a 3-part or 3-to-1 mix. And I usually just kind of scoop it in there. It's kind of thick, it doesn't pour great. This lets me get exactly what I need in there. Have quite a bit more control and don't make a mess. Usually. This one container of barrier coat basically did all the Flybridge panels and all of the wall panels. It's gone quite a way. Actually, that's not true. I used 2 of them. It's done all the walls for sure. So you're supposed to let it sit for 15 minutes for the induction period. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back after the induction time. Just using a foam roller. Got a little bit of great paint on there already. For me handling it. Okay. Well, there's that done. So tomorrow I will come in after that's dry, and then I will peel the other side of the peel ply off, and then I'll cut the excess fiberglass off, and then we'll go install it on the boat. We'll see you tomorrow. So it's the next day. I peeled the peel ply off, and it's time to trim the extra fiberglass off. This is the mold that I used to make the Flybridge curved panels. Okay, if I take the sheathing off, I can move that there. So the cable steering pulley. So the steering cables run through that pulley there, which is bolted out here. So I'm thinking I'll try to get the plywood off and leave this member in place. It'll have to be strengthened, but I can do that because I got to rebuild this whole helm. So I'll do that, strengthen that when I rebuild the helm. But trying to get this out of here without cutting too many wires. I've already cut a DC wire and cut this wire, cut that wire, but all of this is going to get redone anyway, so it's not a big deal that it gets cut. The new panel goes out to like about here. I don't know if you can see that. But I'll leave that one there too. So I need to take out the 2 carriage bolts for the steering. So I need to go get a 3/8 wrench. Sorry, a 9/16 wrench. That almost went swimming. Steering bolts are out. Okay. All right, trying to get the paint off. There's a small strip of fiberglass here. I'm just chipping it off so when I epoxy the panel, the epoxy goes to the glue, since the fiberglass isn't sticking to the wood. Epoxy sticks to the wood, I think I said epoxy sticks to the glue. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Well, we just start fitting the panel. Yes. A little list. We got to put our blocks in the wall. So I put these on the back side of the panel to make sure they're flush in a couple of places.